Welcome to the Fun Astrology Midweek Touch Base with Thomas and Kristin, and thank you for joining us. This is the 24th of September, midweek, Hump Day Wednesday, and we have a big culmination happening today in the sky, and then it goes radio silent for like 3 weeks. Seriously, I'm not kidding. So we're going to cover today as today, and then we're going to be spinning yarn here on the Fun Astrology podcast for the next 3 weeks. We will come up with something. I don't know. Maybe we'll read out of the phone book if there is such a thing. We can find one, but it's literally how it is. And there's a message in that we'll get to and pull together in this episode. We've got a couple of things in the sky to start. 2:04 this morning, the sun trines Pluto. We've already drawn that line in here. And then at 7:51, these are both Eastern, Mars squares Pluto. We've got that drawn in there too. So, Kristin, what are you seeing here?
It is a busy chart. I mean, here we are 2 days after equinox. We are just 3 days after the eclipse on Sunday. This is quite a dynamic between the kite, the square from Mars to Pluto, and we now have the moon in that dynamic as well. The moon moved into Scorpio at 5 a.m. this morning, which is nice because it did end that long void with the square to Jupiter that started back at 12 p.m. yesterday afternoon. So it was a 16, 17-hour void. And so to have it in Scorpio now is nice to just have that be past. But again, the dynamic of Moon and Mars together, and as well as the yod there too, it is quite a focus.
You mentioned the kite. Let's draw this in because I think this is significant. I was laughing there. So a Scorpio moon is better than a void moon. Is that what you're saying?
Well, when it is square to Jupiter in Cancer, I would say yes.
Okay. That's great. Love it. So here's our kite. And I mean, this is what we've been talking about. This is everything that's driving our emotions, our feelings, our actions, our thoughts is within one of these lines. One of these lines is touching it. And Kristin mentioned there is one other yod that is subtle, but let's go ahead and draw it in. And that's with Venus at the top and Pluto and our Aries vortex point here with Saturn and Neptune. So there are several things that I thought maybe we could pick apart here. First of all, if we boil all of this down, the kite is positive. And we even saw that this weekend. You know, this was not a weekend to stage an event to gather 300,000 people together in a concentrated area and then fly in the whole top of the United States government. An astrologer would not have done that, and yet it worked out. And not only did it work out, it's been a pivot point, and it was flawless. Like no glitches, no Mercury retrograde stuff, you know? So that's, to me, the power of the kite. In other words, don't ignore a positive aspect.
I will say, though, they still did hold caution with having the bulletproof glass. There was more of a system for protection this time, too.
Yes, for sure. And obviously, I don't care where you are on the spectrum of things regarding that. We didn't want any other tragedies.
Right, exactly.
So there's the positive. And then we have this one, too, which is the mystic rectangle.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we could go through and talk about what all of these connect and the influence and whatnot, but I think there's one thing, the driving dynamic of all of this that we could focus on. There are so many tangents to this, and we've been trying to cover them as best we can, but right now, I think what's probably in the driver's seat, Kristin, is Saturn, which has, as we know, moved into Pisces, Neptune, which will on October 22nd, and the whole effect of that being right there at the 0 Aries point.
I couldn't agree more with the fact that Saturn was opposite the eclipse and the fact that the equinox was opposite Neptune, and then their dynamic together. this is the huge focal point. I mean, it is the apex of the kite. This is where all that energy is flowing to.
What we saw over the weekend, what we saw on Sunday, we're not going to go into it too much, but my question that I have to ask is, could this whole situation, from the assassination, the murder, to the memorial, to the reaction of the memorial, to her speech, to the whole thing, I forgive. And just the one thing that I saw was the theme of people who experienced it was the energy, at least of the, got to set politics aside, folks. This is not a political commentary. And if you're looking through political eyes and hearing through political ears, we are not on the same vibration. I'm sorry. This is not about the politics. I'm setting all of that part aside. I turned it down when that stuff came on. But the rest of the vibe, my question is, could this be the beginning of the spiritual renaissance, the spiritual revival that we've been talking about, or at least this next phase? What do you think?
I couldn't agree more. I think it definitely is. And spirituality is for the individual to define, whether you
Mm-hmm.
find that in a church or in a drum circle, whatever gives you that connection of energy. And for many people, they felt it there. And it's one of those things that Neptune at the focus, it is such a powerful point of bringing spirituality into the conversation. But how are you using that spirituality, or how is it becoming part of your individual conversation? Is it just finding space where spirituality is becoming a focus? Are you having to look at illnesses or healing, or even just being able to figure out what is being kept secret or mystery? Those are other things that Neptune kind of defines as that fog. Where are you pushing through fog right now?
And another overlay on that would be Saturn, which represents government, let's say
Mhm.
politics. And because they are together, they are intertwined. We could do a figure eight here and just bring them in together. So the question is, which one are you listening to? Or how are you seeing this movement? Are you seeing it so loudly through the lens of politics that you can't pick up on the Neptune, or the Neptune is muted? Or remember, Neptune is all about confusion. So these are very blurry lines that are going on right now. But boy, I think the one thing would be just sad to miss that there could be this, like, what does a spiritual revival or a spiritual renaissance look like when it falls down out of the sky in your lap? And my question is, could this be what it looks like?
Yeah, I mean, as the US, our allegiance is under God for liberty and justice for all. And I think that's what it needs to be. Whatever God is for you, it's still the main part: liberty and justice for all. The power within is such a main point, though, that I hope that everybody can come to realize.
But as we look at the chart one more time, we realize what's going on is not only positive, it is very positive, because a rectangle and a kite, it can't get better than that. It is fated, as we said, with the odds. The pressure
Mhm.
points, well, this is one for sure. Mars and Moon in Scorpio. And then another pressure point is this opposition with the Sun in an area that it is not as happy, particularly, but yet positive things are happening around all of it. So it really is. It's a very interesting time right now. And I think the thing that we can do as we leave today and start moving into this desert, if you will, for 3 weeks, is we can take this image with us and realize, how is this spiritual shift affecting me? I mean, look, I couldn't draw you a more descriptive picture of what transformation looks like.
Hmm.
Positive things are happening. How are you seeing it? How are you experiencing it? And how you're experiencing it is exactly what you'll see and what you'll get.
Definitely. The kite is a powerful push to all things Saturn and Neptune. So bring foundation to your spirituality, to the way that you connect.
And thank you so much for stopping by on this Wednesday. Hope this helps a little bit. We will see you in the desert starting tomorrow. Kristin gets the first step into the sand, and she'll be here in the morning. Thanks for watching.
Much love. Talk soon.